Hello, and welcome back to the studio. I'm Dr. Wiggo, and today I've got a new camera. Again, there's a story, and at least it's not an A7V, which just came out recently, and I kind of wanted, but I'll tell you the story of why I bought this one and why I didn't buy an A7V. How about that? But if you don't care about any of that, just skip on to the unboxing of this. And if you don't care about seeing what's in the box, then just skip on ahead and I will show you how I'm going to use it. And then we'll move on. And I'll also be unboxing a dummy battery for my new baby because, well, you'll see. So why am I buying another camera when I obviously have more cameras than I need? Can you really have too many cameras? Sony recently released a new camera, the A7V, which is a replacement for the A7 IV, which is this guy over here. And it's a better camera in pretty much every respect. It has a new AI processor. I'm not even sure this guy has an AI processor. It has a new AI processor chip that's integrated with the regular camera chip, whereas in previous cameras they've been separate. The A7V has better autofocus than this guy. It has a faster sensor. It does 4K 120. It's an amazing camera. It's also almost $3,000, $2,900. And here's the problem. Besides the fact that I no longer have a job, so I don't get the big paychecks anymore, so I really can't afford it anyway. But I bought an A7R5, and that video will be linked down below. And that was $3,400. But that was back when I had a job and could afford it. And it's a great camera. And most of the stuff that the A7V does, the A7R5 also does, but not everything. The A7V would actually be a better camera for me than the A7R5, but since I already own it and have $3,400 sunk into it, I'm not buying an A7V. But, and some of you will understand this who have GAS, Gear Acquisition Syndrome, once I started thinking about buying another camera, I kind of had to follow through. No, I really didn't, but give me my little fantasies, will you? And one of the things I've been thinking of doing now that I'm a full-time YouTuber, it's not really full-time, but it's my only job. I've been watching all these videos and Mark Bennett's Camera Crisis and everything, and they all talk about color grading and all this cool stuff. Well, the thing about color grading is what you really want to capture in your camera is 10-bit 422, which this camera will do, and this camera will do, but this camera will not do. The ZV-E10, which is a great little camera, and is much cheaper than most Sony cameras, and it's been serving me okay, but it doesn't do 10-bit 422. The ZV-E10 Mark II does do 10-bit 422. And it has a lot of other cool things. I'll talk about some of those right now. Another reason I bought this right now is that it's $200 off list. It lists for $1,200, but right now you can get it for under $1,000, $998, technically under $1,000. But this is a better sensor. It's the same sensor that's in this camera. It's a 26 megapixel, 23.3 by 15.5 millimeter CMOS APS-C sensor, which is a step up from this guy's 24 megapixel sensor. Not that megapixels really mean anything when you're talking about video, but it's the principle of the thing. This does 10-bit 422 versus the 8-bit 420 that this guy does. This guy will do 4K 60 versus 4K 30. And if I'm ever going to stream, this does 4K 30 USB streaming. I think this guy's 720p streaming. So for a lot of reasons, this would make a much better camera than this. Now, coincidentally, when I went to shoot this video, this camera started acting up. It wouldn't recognize the battery, or it'd say the battery was exhausted when it wasn't. And I messed around with it. I finally got it on, and we're going to hurry and finish this before it dies because by the end of the video, I'll be replacing it with this guy. Rather than just stand here and tell you all the things about this camera, why don't I show you and let's unbox it and then we can find out all the cool new stuff. Double your warranty period just by registering. Woohoo! Sony Limited Warranty, reference guide, lenses and accessories. I guess this is a quick start guide. Yes, it is. I gotta admit, Sony's getting a little better about the amount of paper they cram into these things. So next in the box, well, here's the actual camera and a strap, which of course I never use straps. Ooh, look, a battery. It's the NP-FZ100 battery, not the MP-FW50 battery that's in this guy. much longer battery life. Plus, I have a pile of these because almost every Sony camera I own uses these, except for the original ZV-E10, of which I have two. In fact, one sitting right here, and I'm going to be comparing them in a moment. What else is in here? It's the poorly named Dead Cat. I don't like that name. It's a windscreen for the microphone on the camera. Well, let's look at the camera itself. Okay, so this is the new ZV-E10 Mark II, and this is the old ZV-E10, which I've had for some time. There's actually two videos I'll link below. When I bought my first ZV-E10, which was this one, and then another video when I bought my second ZV-E10, which was this one, because this one was Japanese and set to the PAL format, and every time you changed it over to the American format, you had to hit a button, and it was a pain in the ass. And when I tried to use my overhead camera, constantly having to hit buttons and everything to make those screens clear, I just bought another one. It was like $600. So you can already see, just looking at them, that this has the better grip. See the difference in the grip? Much thicker, easier to hold. This has a little tiny grip. I guess if you have little tiny hands, it's good. But wait, there's more. I already mentioned the battery. You can see here, this takes this full-size Z100 battery. Let's see if it comes fully charged, shall we? Okay, this says it doesn't have any battery at all. Hold on. Battery it came with dead, so I went and grabbed one from my battery pile. Got pixel mapping. That's a new thing the newer Sony cameras do, is they do this pixel mapping thing where they helps the sensor somehow. Another improvement over the old one is this has a switch for sliding between photo, video, S&Q, and it comes set to video, which is what I want. Good for Sony. Whereas this has a button that you have to press and then you have to look at the screen. This is much better. This one has the on-off switch here, but this one has it like almost all other Sony cameras here. But wait, there's more. This is the SD card slot. Where's the SD card slot on this one? Is it under here? No, those are ports, which are there and there. As I was saying, where's the SD card on this guy? It's inside the battery. It's next to the battery, so you have to open the battery thing, which if you're mounted on a tripod or mounted up like this, I have to like reach behind and slide it in, and now when this is up here, I'll just poke it in. Well, I was going to show you the difference in these screens. This one is 922,000 dots, the old one, and the new one is 1.04 million dots, but it's a lot sharper and clearer, and it's a better screen all around, and slightly larger. But I can't show you because this thing's doing the same thing this one did, which is it's not, I mean, this battery I've checked, these batteries are good, and it won't come on. It's like they've met their planned obsolescence phase. By the way, these things, the ZV-E10 has always been a little hinky with batteries. Sometimes you have to press it and do it. That's what I had to do to get this thing to come on just now. But it's not working on this one at all. Good thing I bought another one. The new one has Wi-Fi 5. The old one was Wi-Fi 4. This is Bluetooth 4.2. The old one was Bluetooth 4.1. The new one is better at rolling shutter. Still not great. Sony's aren't the best at rolling shutter, you know, where you get that wavy thing. But the new one is much better than the old one at that. It's just a much better camera all the way around. And right now, it costs $300 more. You can buy one of these for $300 less than one of these right now. And Sony did not discontinue this. This is still one of their best-selling cameras, especially in Japan. The Japanese love these little things. They buy them by the fistful. They were hard to get during the pandemic, too, hence my video down below and how I ended up with a Japanese one. Yeah, you don't need to go watch that, but you can. Okay, well that's the unboxing. Wait, we're not done with the unboxing part because I have to unbox. So what we have here is a dummy battery. And because I'm replacing a newer dummy battery, this part is the same, so I just have to run this part to this thing that's over there on the C-stand. So it'll be easy to install. What do you say I turn this camera off and take it down? So I'll set this guy up to shoot up at this so you can see what I'm doing. So over here is the HDMI, mini HDMI cable, which I will be attaching to the new one. And here is the battery, which I will be replacing with the new one, the dummy battery. And then we pull this out. I can't rely on the overhead camera because I'm holding it in my hand. So I'm putting the little connector on here. My old one was white. I had two of the same camera. So you don't want two identical cameras, so I got a white one and a black one so I could tell them apart. The white one was the American system, and this was the European and rest of the world, Japanese, rest of the world system. I need to get my video card out of this very hard to pull out of, especially when it's hanging up over your head. But see, now I just stick it here in this side thing. Apparently they've turned this port around because the way it was backwards from where it needs to be. So we'll stick, okay, now put this back in there. Now I need to run this little wire. Now the last thing I have to do, which I don't think I can do from this side, but so I've got this clip, which I want to take the old one out of and grab the new wire. There's my little monitor, and I have it just about centered where it was, the old camera. Let's see, I zoom in enough to get the laptop out of there. And now this is the new overhead camera. These are both my ZV-E10s, which I will probably not be using much anymore. These are great little cameras to just slip in your pocket or in a bag because they're tiny. I mean, even with the lenses. Oh, by the way, I bought the ZV-E10 Mark II without a kit lens because I said, well, I already have a kit lens, and, well, this is what the kit lens looks like. Except it turns out, when I was watching one of Mark Bennett's Camera Crisis videos to get some notes about more things different between the two, I discovered the new kit lens is better than the old kit lens. For $100 more, I could have gotten a better lens. But since this is all I really use it for is up here, I'll tell you another advantage this one has. There's a bright red light right here that tells me it's recording. Oh, it has a better microphone. Not that I ever use it, but I do use the microphone to sync with the rest of the audio here. And then I can put its little lens cap on. By the way, if you ever see a video and there's a string hanging down, I usually flip it back up over, but sometimes I forget. And to get the card out, much easier than trying to mess around in that battery compartment. And then when you press it in, it only comes out a little, and then you have to reach in there with your finger. This just pops right out. I'm a happy camper. This is a big improvement over my previous camera. I'm not going to use half of its features, but they're there if I ever need to pull it down and take it with me somewhere. So that's my Christmas present to myself. Merry Christmas. And a Merry Christmas to you. That's it for today. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time. Bye-bye. Actually, you already had a Merry Christmas, didn't you? Have a Happy New Year then. Thanks for staying to the end. Bye-bye.